Hi friends, welcome to this third video in the series of Elliott Wave patterns. Just to recap what we have covered last two videos, we tried to understand the Elliott wave structure, which is typically an 8-wave structure as you can see on my screen. The first 5 waves are known as your motive waves numbered 1 to 5, and the next 3 waves are known as your corrective waves numbered alphabetically as A, B and C. Second, what we studied was that there are two types of motive waves. Type number 1, which adhere to all the rules of Elliott wave structure, and type number 2, where one rule is not being adhered to. As you can see on my screen, the 3 rules that we covered were: rule number 1, wave 2 can never touch the origin of wave number 1, wave 3 can never be the shortest, and the final rule, wave 4 will never invade the territory of wave number 1. If all these rules are met, then that is the first type of your motive wave, which is the most common type known as an impulse motive wave. However, when the third rule is not met and wave number 4 makes a low which is less than or equal to the high of wave number 1, that condition is a rare condition and known as a diagonal motive wave. So, to see it diagrammatically, this is a typical structure of an impulse motive wave which follows all the 3 rules. The third rule being that wave number 4 will not invade this particular territory, or it will not touch the high of wave number 1. But when this rule is not being met, this is known as a diagonal motive wave. In the context of diagonal motive waves, let's try to understand the two variations of diagonal motive waves. One is known as an ending diagonal and the other is known as a leading diagonal. When we talk about ending diagonal, as the word suggests, it will occur in the end wave, that is the wave number 5. And it is often spotted when you have a very steep wave number 3. This is mostly going to be converging in nature, that is very similar to a converging triangle pattern or a symmetrical triangle pattern. Finally, if this kind of a pattern or this kind of an extension is visualized in the first wave rather than the fifth wave, then we call it a leading diagonal wave. So to summarize, in case of an ending diagonal wave, you will see a converging pattern occurring in the wave number 5 or the end wave of the motive wave cycle. It is often spotted when the third wave is quite steep and there is a huge momentum in the third wave. And finally, it is mostly converging in nature. And if this happens in the first wave, then we call this as a leading diagonal wave. Leading waves are not very common and very rarely seen, whereas ending waves are the most common forms of diagonal wave. I hope you are now able to understand the two categories of motive waves, that is your impulse wave and diagonal waves, and the concepts around truncation and extension of the impulse waves, and also the context of ending diagonal and a leading diagonal. Stay tuned, and in the final video, we'll cover the corrective wave to complete the structure of the Elliott wave theory. Thank you.